it's not too much and more than they can handle. So if we're going to give you one last look here at what we're seeing at the moment as we stand here along the water where there often is some flooding, and neighbors say that they are expecting some flooding. But for now, just keep an eye out and do what you can with those sandbags, with anything else you can do to try to protect your homes from the rain that they are expecting to come in soon. For now, though, I'm live in Alexandria. Jess Arnold, and I'll send it back to you.
Jess, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Of course, we got the whole team with us watching the severe weather today. Chief Meteorologist Topper Shutt with us now with what's going on. Topper.
Yeah, well, here's the line of storms. And again, it's pretty much severe from north of Frederick through D.C. down toward Fredericksburg. And again, look at the lightning between Fredericksburg and La Plata. That tells me those storms are intensifying in terms of perhaps building a little bit, becoming a little more intense with wind and perhaps some rotation. We don't see much rotation with this, fortunately, which is good, but this is bad. We got severe thunderstorm warnings and across the board for the entire metro area. Essentially, we're looking at Prince George's, Montgomery, Fairfax, and D.C. until 12:30. And if you're in Prince George's County, say over toward Bowie, and even over in Calvert County, just get ready. It's going to head your way. So these are the warnings right here, including La Plata, D.C. Also, again, Leesburg, you're just sort of out of the picture right now in terms of severe weather. It's to your east. But if you're anywhere east of I-95, it's heading your way. We're looking at rotation. We don't see a lot. I saw a tiny bit around Reston about 5 minutes ago, and Caitlin, you said you saw a little bit up around Darnestown, but nothing that's really scaring us at this point, which is good. But remember, these are severe storms. We don't need little tiny tornadoes. Winds are still going to be anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour across the board as this moves eastward. The good news, it clears out by about 3 o'clock. We'll come back. We will talk about our flood watch and show you what is now a trimmed tornado watch. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, we are looking at, again, a tornado watch for most of the metro area until about 2 o'clock, but we still have these storms rolling through the metro that are severe, and we have this solid line of storms really from the Maryland-PA border all the way through into southern Maryland right now. These are moving off to the east, northeast at about 40 miles an hour. This is what you see, these boxes. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Goes until 12:30 for Charles and Fairfax and Prince George's County and also parts of Prince William County. And here's a tornado watch. This is in red and has been trimmed. So Hagerstown, Martinsburg, Winchester, you're clear right now. Leesburg, you're still under the watch technically. And the yellow, that means severe weather is occurring in your area. Frederick, Gaithersburg, Clarkburg, Rockville, Bethesda, D.C., all the way down 301 and 5 to Waldorf. We'll come back. We'll show you a flood watch in just a minute.
The news at noon continues, and it is a red weather alert day. The whole area under a tornado watch until 2 this afternoon. We'll have an update on DC's most accurate forecast in less than 2 minutes. Caitlin McGrath, though, joining us right now. Caitlin.
On a number of severe thunderstorm warnings, all of those little boxes you see, that is where we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. These storms all moving off to the east northeast around 40 miles per hour. So we'll put radar here on a loop. Our uppermost severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 12:45. The warning that encompasses DC and surrounding counties, including Montgomery, Fairfax County, that's in effect until 12:30. And we just have a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of St. Mary's and Charles County. That's in effect until 1 p.m. But we want to show you where the worst of the weather is right now. We've already had a number of tornado warnings so far, and just because we don't have a tornado warning right now does not mean we're in the clear, and it does not mean that these storms aren't capable of producing damage. We have all of these warnings for the possibility of some strong and locally damaging wind, and as you can see, some really locally heavy rain as well. We have a flood watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Topper's going to talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes, but first we do want to zoom in, show you this first severe thunderstorm warning. Right now it is pouring from Thurmont down towards Libertytown and Frederick, and all of this again pushing off to the east northeast, so moving into Taneytown and Mount Airy, Westminster. This storm coming for you guys next. Let's take you a little bit farther south, show you where we have another severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now over Damascus, over into Tuscarora, Poolesville, Germantown. You're all seeing this really locally heavy rain, lots of thunder and lightning embedded in these storms as well. Rockville right along 370 down into 270, just starting to see the worst of this weather move into parts of northwest DC. And again, that's where we have the locally heavy rain, possibly damaging wind. These storms already blew past Reston and Fairfax. We had that tornado warning in effect for parts of Montgomery and Fairfax County. That has been canceled. But important to note that within this line of storms, we've been seeing really weak rotation, little spin ups, just given the dynamics of the atmosphere. So another tornado warning, not out of the question. But in the meantime, we are still watching very carefully for these storms to produce some really locally strong wind, possibly some damaging wind. Right now, the worst of the weather over Potomac Heights, heading into Alexandria, Waldorf, down into La Plata. And of course, we did just see that severe thunderstorm warning expanded to include parts of St. Mary's and Charles County. The worst of the weather over Faulkner, down towards Colonial Beach. So let's give you a wider perspective and time out this entire line of storms as it inches closer to your area. If you have loved ones in the area, you need to make them aware this line of really heavy storms is heading their way. So we'll draw it out here all the way down this line and push it out to the north and east. We got the wrong tool there, so let me reset. And again, we'll show you where those storms are heading next, because they are packing quite a punch. All of these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for that potentially locally damaging wind. We have the threat for some small hail as well, though we haven't seen a whole lot of reflectivity spike. We haven't seen any indication on our end that we could see some hail. So wind, far and large, the primary concern. So here we go. We'll drive down. We have a new tornado warning in effect, actually. So let's head back and show you where that is. Topper, do you have the details on this tornado warning?
Let's see. With the let me zoom in here. We have the tornado warning in effect, and go ahead and hit space bar. It'll pop up here in a second.
Hey, Top, if you want to head back to me, I can show you where the warning is on.
Okay, well, here's the warning right now. So it's Montgomery County, and it crosses over into Howard County. And again, that's brand new. This is brand new. It's within the severe thunderstorm warnings, moving off to the northeast at about 43 miles per hour. I'll go back to Caitlin. Do you have it on radar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what Topper and I have been talking about here throughout the afternoon, that these little spin-ups are certainly possible, and that is why we have another tornado warning in effect. So let's zoom in first and foremost, show you where it's in effect for. And again, right now, the worst of this weather, the reason they issued this tornado warning between Olney and Rockville. We're going to find out how long this is in effect for, but if you are within that red box, you need to find your safe space. You need to seek a small interior room, preferably a basement. If you have one, get away from windows. If you can, grab something that you can put over your head to protect yourself from any flying debris. So this tornado warning in effect until 12:45 p.m. Right now, sitting just over Rockville, and as we know, moving off to the north and east around 40 miles per hour. So let's time it out and show you when it's going to continue to push off into parts of Howard County. Expect this storm in your area, Sandy Spring, around 12:24. So you have about 5 minutes to find that safe space. Heading into Clarksville around 12:30, Columbia 12:45. 12:45. Ellicott City, you can expect this around 12:45 as well. So let's take a closer look at some of our radar data, see what we have going on in terms of rotation within this tornado warning. Again, this includes Montgomery and Howard County until 12:45. And again, right now it looks like the worst of the weather between Rockville and Olney. We'll put on our velocity data. Again, this is a product that we use to indicate rotation. So anytime you see that brighter green that you see right there in the southwestern part of that tornado warning between Olney, anytime you see that up against red, that's when we know there's indication that there could be rotation within the storm. The National Weather Service is who issues these tornado warnings. And again, they're clearly seeing some rotation within this storm as well. And that's what we're going to be watching very carefully between now and 12:45 when that warning expires. So again, if you are within this area, Olney back towards Columbia, just to the north of Laurel, you need to seek shelter immediately. If you have loved ones in the area, give them a call, shoot them a text, let them know that they are under this tornado warning for the time being. We'll zoom in closer, show you where all this tornado warning encompasses. Again, parts of Montgomery and Howard County. Let's get in a little closer here, see if we can show you some more towns. Right now, the worst of the weather heading toward Olney. So if you are in the area, heading towards Ashton next, Snyder Estates, Brighton. This is all heading towards your area in the next few minutes. The time is now to seek that safe space, a small interior room away from windows. A basement is preferred. We know it's the middle of the day. A lot of folks might be in the office, as far away from those windows as you can get. Even if it's a hallway, that's going to be a safe bet for where to be during this tornado warning. We'll time it out here.
Caitlin, if you're on 650 New Hampshire Avenue, goes right through Ashton. That's a road. Like you said, shoot someone a text. If you got to know your geography, so if you're east of these areas, have a plan. Go to an interior room. OSICC in Rockville, okay, 200. It's moving. Don't see the trees whipping that much, but see the ponding on the road there. They had a pretty good downpour. So again, tornado warning in effect until 12:45, Montgomery County and Howard County. So come to the band for just a second. Here, we'll widen this out. This is a solid line of severe weather. And we say this over and over again. Caitlin was mentioned little rotation, kind of gustnados. So some of these may actually have a little tiny rotation, but never reach tornado warning level. But they still will produce some pretty good damage with winds, over 50, 60 miles per hour. So this is the tornado warning in effect for Montgomery County and Howard County until 12:45. Everybody else essentially under a severe thunderstorm warning at this hour. So this is the area we're concerned about. Headed toward Columbia, Olney, Ashton, Brighton. So again, out 650, out 108, which intersects 650 in Ashton, and even down towards Silver Spring. You're not under the tornado warning, but you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll zoom in a little bit more. Again, 97 going out Olney. If you have business out there or you're trying to get out of town, just wait 45 minutes till it clears, because this is the severe thunderstorm warning here in yellow and the watch there in red. And right now, I don't see the tornado warning anymore. Did they take that down?
I think they still have it up top. And I'm taking a look at a different radar product back here.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it is still up. I'm sorry. Yeah, we had a pause point. So there's the warning in effect for Olney in Montgomery County, and then across into our friends into Howard County. So we've got, a red weather alert. We don't do this often. It's got to be pretty big stuff for us to issue a red weather alert. Flooding is moderate, wind damage is high, power outage is moderate, and a wet commute, that is certainly in the moderate range. So if you're under a warning, if you're in Montgomery County around Olney or in Howard County, what do? Well, obviously the best thing to do is get to an interior room. You want to get away from windows. Okay, cover yourself with blankets or a mattress. Mary mentioned that. I know it sounds silly, but it can save your life. Yes, the best place, of course, is a basement. If you have a basement, get into a basement. If you don't have a basement, you still want to get away from windows to an interior room. Okay, so here is Futurecast. By 7 o'clock tonight, everything is pretty much gone, although it's been trying to produce a second line with the front. Remember, cold front's coming through today. What we're seeing now is what we call prefrontal. It's not from the front. This is going to be from the front later on tonight, between about 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. We could see another round of severe weather. So don't let your guard down once this rolls through. We'll have a respite. You can catch your breath, yes, but this is another round possibly by 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And then by 10:30, it is gone and really beginning to hammer the Delmarva. And after that, it's just going to be pretty quiet. We also have a flood watch in effect for the entire metro area until 11 p.m. tonight. So we got a lot going on. That's why we did a red weather alert. Caitlin.
Yeah, Topper, I've been keeping a close eye on this tornado warning, again, in effect until 12:45. And you can see where this little notch is south of Olney. That's where we're seeing the strongest wind right now. Thankfully, I was just looking at some other radar data, and it doesn't look like we're seeing that traditional tight couplet, that indication that we could have a tornado on the ground. But we are certainly, at a minimum, seeing some very damaging winds. So again, if you are in this tornado warning until 12:45, you need to seek shelter immediately. The worst of the weather heading towards Brighton and Ashton any minute now. Snyder's Estate, you also need to be in shelter. Clarksville, Simpsonville, find that safe space. We do want to time out when this storm is heading into your area. In fact, I'm going to give you a little bit of a wider perspective here to show you where the entire warning is. We want to take a live picture actually real quick. This is New Hampshire Avenue in 108 in Ashton. You can see that traffic light swaying in the wind there. Topper, you're also mic'd up here. Look at those trees. This is, again, this is where we're talking about the strongest wind right now, where we have that tornado warning issued. It makes me nervous to see all these cars on the road, because even if a tornado isn't on the ground, we are still seeing some significant wind gusts in the area. Yeah, and this is exactly, I mean, 108 and 650 is Ashton, and you're right in the path. And you see the lights blowing just a little bit, nothing crazy yet, but yeah, hopefully if you know someone and maybe they're trying to do, something in the Olney area or Ashton, text them and say, hey, you know what, don't do that. Go to a safe place. Go to an interior room and get out of your car, because that is that's just not safe. I mean, it really isn't. So we'll let me zoom in here again. Yeah, Top.
What is?
Yeah, Top, why don't you come back to me, because I do want to show you right now. Again, we're talking about the Olney Ashton area where we just showed you that live image, but there's a pretty strong part of this storm that is outside of the warning area. So if you're in the Brighton area, I want you to seek shelter as well. And that's what we've been saying all morning long, that even if you're not within a tornado warning, these storms are still producing some significant winds. So let's zoom in. I want to take you closer to that tornado warning, of course, but also show you the areas right here I'm a little concerned with, between Dayton and Laytonsville, rather. That's where we're also seeing some pretty significant winds. So if you're in Sunshine, Roxbury Mills, Brighton, you need to seek shelter immediately as well. I do think the tornado warning might be a little too narrow here. Again, there's nothing on radar indicating that we are seeing a tornado on the ground, but still seeing some really significant wind potential. And that extends outside of the tornado warning. Again, we don't want to forget about those severe thunderstorm warnings that are covering so much of our area, because we are still seeing some damaging wind gusts within those storms as well. But of course, with that tornado warning, we can expect rotation within the storm. So I want to time out where this tornado is heading. We've been talking about it all morning. Storms pushing off to the north and east around 40 miles per hour. So we'll start with where the strongest of the storm is right now and drag it out. I did just hear a ding on my phone, so excuse me while I bend down. That's for a new severe thunderstorm warning for Calvert County and Prince George's County. So let me actually take you back here and draw that a little bit better there. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, so I would expect where you see a severe thunderstorm warning right now, they're just going to keep pushing off to the north and east. So we'll get you back here to radar and talk about where we have that tornado warning in effect right now. Take you minute by minute, mile by mile. Again, if you know loved ones in the area of this tornado warning until 12:45, you need to call them right now, shoot them a text, tell them to seek shelter. We do want to time out this tornado warning here, and then I'll send you back to Top or Shut to talk more about the severe thunderstorm warnings we have in effect, because as we know, those are just as dangerous. Severe wind gusts expected, some really locally heavy rain, but we do want to show you where the storm is right now and of course where it's heading next. I do think if you're in Rockville, this storm has passed you. You can get out of your safe space, but if you are right now in Ashton down towards Olney, that's where we're seeing the storm. It's heading into the Clarksville area in about 5 minutes here, 5 minutes to find that small interior room. Get away from windows and basements. The storm heading toward Columbia around 12:45. If it holds together, that tornado warning would be in gray around 12:50. But again, we are expecting this warning to expire at 12:45. Topper, what are you seeing on your end? Okay, I want to zoom in a little bit in that warning area and give you a couple more towns. But again, here's the big picture. Past couple of hours, pretty much a solid line of severe weather. Severe thunderstorms with embedded tornado warnings. Here's a tornado warning in effect. Again, Montgomery County, Howard County, that goes until 12:45.
12:45, and we have this new severe thunderstorm warning down toward Calvert and Charles and Prince George's, southern Prince George's, until 1:15. But this is the what we're concerned about. I looked at some velocity too. They haven't seen anything crazy. A few more lightning strikes indicates it might be getting a little bit stronger, but kind of zoom in a little bit here. So we've got Sandy Spring. You're getting heavy rain right now. Rainfall rate's over an inch per hour there. Brookville, way out 97, past Olney, you're getting heavy rain. Don't see any velocity yet. And even further in, Brinklow, you're getting heavy rain. Ednor, as you cross over New Hampshire Avenue to the east, you're getting heavy rain. But right now, technically, you're still under the tornado warning in effect, okay? So we'll zoom back out. It's headed toward Columbia and Guilford. So if you are in this area, have a plan, get to an interior room away from windows. And hopefully, if you're anywhere between Olney and Fairland and Brinklow and Brighton and also Ashton, you're already sheltering in place. That's what you should be doing, because
that tornado warning got expanded to include more of Montgomery County.
Let's see, let me go back here. Oh, yes, it did. Yep. Well, no, it got expanded to include more of Howard County. Yeah, so it's still in Montgomery County, but it's now expanded into portions of Howard County. It looks like another warning, actually, up to the north there. There's 32 and 108. So so that's still, you see a little bit of sunshine because the storm is off to your west, but it is moving toward you. So you guys need to, take this seriously and also find a place for shelter. So let me just go in here for 1 second here. Okay, so what we have here is another warning for just a little sliver of Montgomery County, a tiny, tiny sliver right here of Montgomery County, and also up into Howard County. So this is the new warning. They just expanded this. You're around Dayton, West Friendship. This is a newer warning. Same time frame, 12:45. But it just clips a little tiny bit of eastern Montgomery County and then most of Howard County until 12:45. So if you're in that area, Dayton, Friendship, take cover, get away from the windows, and set it over and over again. Even if it's not tornadic, even if it doesn't have any rotation, it still could have winds up to 60 miles per hour. So Glen Elg, that's way out 97, past Olney, past Brookville. Take cover if you're in that area. All right, Glenwood, take cover. West Friendship, you know someone on 70 trying to go between Frederick and Baltimore. Text them, say, get off the interstate. Just pull off the interstate, get to a secure building, commercial building if you can, because it's just to the east of Sunshine, but this is the newest warning now we can find for tornado warning until 12:45. So Sunshine, you're technically not in the new one. Brighton, I mentioned Brighton, it's just to the east and north of you, but even so, if you're anywhere we've been talking about, this is the one. You have to take cover into Sunshine and Dayton and Glen Elg. It's going to cross the river here, and we're looking at the potential for a tornado. It's radar indicated. We don't have anything in terms of ground truth just yet, and it's going to cross over to 70 rather. So that is in the warning area as well. So be advised, goes until 12:45. It is just a sliver, and I mean a sliver of Montgomery County. I want to go ahead and just take off sweeping radar for just a second and just kind of clean this up a little bit. So Sunshine, you're not in the warning per se, but it's going to go across the Patuxent River here shortly and get into Howard County and over toward Glen Elg and Gary and Ivory. So if you're in any of those areas or Dayton, please take cover. Caitlin, you have anything for us over there?
Yeah, Topper. So they dropped the initial tornado warning. We now have this one that includes parts of Montgomery and Howard County in effect. And I want to show you where the strongest of the storm is right now. It's just at the southwestern tip of where they just issued that new warning. I know radar is very busy right now. We have a lot of strong storms moving through. But this is where we have that latest tornado warning, and it's over Dayton. And the good news is I was just looking at some other radar data, and again, we're not seeing that traditional strong radar couplet that we typically expect to see when tornado warnings are issued. Here's that live look outside right now. Again, the trees are blowing. You can see lots of ponding on the road, but I do want to take you back to radar because that's really telling the story right now of where you need to seek shelter if you are in this area. Dayton, the storm over you right now. It's about to cross over I-70. That makes me nervous for folks on the road. Yeah. Now is not the time to be outside. If you have loved ones in West Friendship, you need them to seek shelter. This is a pretty small tornado tornado warning, and thankfully, again, not seeing that traditional really tight couplet that makes us nervous when it comes to tornado warnings, but it does not need to be a tornado on the ground to cause significant damage. We can expect wind damage out of this storm. We are seeing some really strong winds gust down from well above our heads. If you're in Ivory, you need to seek shelter as well. Alpha, you are right on the edge of this warning. Do not travel across I-70 where this tornado warning is in effect, again, until 12:45. They might drop it early. They did drop the initial warning early, but for the time being, you need to stay in that safe space. You need to stay in your shelter if you do fall under this tornado warning. We'll show you again everywhere you see shaded there in that red box. Inwood, down into Dayton. I think, Sunshine, you are in the clear right now. The storm has already moved past you. Dayton, you're right on the edge of it, right into West Friendship between Inwood, I think, is where the strongest part of this storm is right now. So this is the tornado warning in effect until 12:45. But I do want to go back and show you this entire line of storms that is littered with severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, a lot of these expanding past the 1 o'clock hour for those potentially damaging winds. We know we're having locally heavy rain. That's why we also have the flood watch in effect until 12 o'clock this evening. Lots of thunder and lightning as well. And as we've been talking about throughout the day today, we've been seeing these little spin ups. That's what triggered our most recent tornado warning. So we can expect some more warnings possibly. And that's actually exactly what we just got. We got a new tornado warning. So let's take you in a little bit closer seat and show you where this one is right now, just to the north of the warning we were just talking about for a sliver of Montgomery and Howard County. Again, actually, that's the initial one. So I guess, Topper, it was issued to the south.
I guess to the south,
parts
yeah,
of Montgomery County. So yeah, there you see it right there.
Yeah, that's
moving
sunshine.
towards Gulford, just to the east of, or west rather, of 95. So let's zoom in a little bit closer, show you what we know about this tornado warning. And again, this is what makes me nervous about days like today. It doesn't take much to get just a little bit of spin in the atmosphere to see these tornado warnings issued. This one, my guess,
goes till 1 o'clock.
Until
1 o'clock
this afternoon.
Yeah.
So let's take you closer, show you town by town where you need to seek your safe space. If you are within this tornado warning, now is the time to find that small interior room away from windows. If you're in Simpsonville, it's heading towards you momentarily here, but let's take you down here to what triggered this warning in the first place. And right to the east of Hillsborough, if you're to the east of North Laurel, that's where this storm is right now. Again, this latest tornado warning in effect until 1 o'clock. Let's zoom in a little bit closer, see if we can't get you some more towns here. Topper, if you can help me out here with some geography of what we have in the area. We know where it's heading, but we do want to let folks know where the storm is right now. Again, this is Montgomery County. It's Yeah, Top, and I do want to point out here, I pulled up this list of where the storm's heading next, and I see a lot of schools on this list. Hammond Elementary School, this storm heading towards your area at 12:41 in just a few minutes. You got to seek shelter right now. Clemens Crossing Elementary School heading towards your area around 12:43. Oakland Mills, this storm right after 12:45, and Talbot Springs Elementary School. You need to seek shelter now for the storm arriving around 12:46 p.m. So again, this is our latest tornado warning. We still have that other tornado warning we're watching through a sliver of Montgomery and Howard County. So we do want to show you that storm as well. This one's set to expire at 12:45, but man, oh man, what an active radar. The worst of the storm over I-70 right now, Topper.
Yeah, let's get a live picture. This is let's see, I-216 and I-95, so not too far from Lime Kiln Road. And you can see heavy rain, traffic still moving. The trees are going a little bit, but not going crazy just yet. But we're still looking at a warning. That is actually should be in the actual warning area. So let's reset. Here's the big picture. Here's the solid line of storms rolling through. And again, we've seen this over and over again. They've been severe. Most of us are looking at a severe thunderstorm warning across the metro. Mary, go ahead and hit the space bar for me. So we'll zoom in a little bit more. This is the newest warning. Again, a little sliver of Montgomery County. Both of these are barely in Montgomery County. By and large, most of these now are in Howard County. So you folks in Howard County need to take cover. And we still have severe thunderstorm warnings, too, down to the south. Those severe thunderstorm warnings go into effect, stay in effect for a little bit longer. But these go in effect until 1 o'clock around Columbia. If you know someone in Columbia, I would call them and tell them, hey, take cover, get off the roads, and hopefully the schools are pretty good about getting the kids into an interior room. So we'll zoom in. This is the warning, the newest warning we have. This goes until 1 o'clock. Again, a little sliver of Montgomery County, mostly in Howard County. And where we showed you that picture was essentially right in this warning area. So North Laurel, you're not quite in the warning. Hillsborough, you're not quite in the warning. I looked at velocity, wasn't crazy concern with this. I think Caitlin's going to check her other source for velocity. This storm now is still under a warning up to Dayton and Glen Elg, way past Sunshine. But I think you're in the clear in terms of severe weather. I think this is the storm that has the biggest potential to produce a tornado. Remember, even if it doesn't produce a tornado, you're going to have winds of 60 miles per hour. So hopefully you have a plan. You're inside. You're away from windows. You're in a basement if you can. These are the two warnings. Yes, this warning still goes across I-70. That could still be a little bit on the hairy side. But the second warning over toward Columbia has me a little bit more concerned. In terms of radar velocity, not crazy. Good news is the watch keeps getting trimmed back. So Frederick County, you're no longer in the tornado watch. Loudoun County, you're no longer in the watch. And we're going to see this trim back as we go forward the next couple of hours as the storms cross 95, eventually cross the bay and go into the Delmarva. But the watch goes until 2 p.m. Tonight. And look at this. We're still looking at a severe thunderstorm warning across most of the metro area. It's kind of like Sunday night when we lit up most of the counties Sunday night too. Mary, go ahead and hit the space bar for me, if you would. So here's the warning. Look at that. Solid warnings between Baltimore and D.C. Down 301, down 5 into southern Maryland, and also up around 70 and north up toward Baltimore. So here are the warnings. Those are the reds. Those are tornado warnings. The yellow is severe thunderstorm warnings. And the sort of more muted red is the tornado watch, which goes until 2 p.m. Today. We've had some damage reports, not many as we would expect. They'll come in. They'll probably come in later on today, but we do have a wind gust with some multiple trees down the Franklin Farm area. That was about 1147, and that's just north of I-66 in Fairfax County. And then wind gust at Quantico, Marine Corps, 43 miles per hour on the east side of 95. I think we're going to see more of these come in as we go through and people start reporting damage. Flooding, yeah, red weather alert, moderate. Wind damage high, power outages moderate, and wet commute moderate as well. So the good news is we're going to have a respite between this round of storms and the next round. So what do? You go to an interior room, hallway, bathroom, stairs, away from windows. Obviously, you're best in a basement, but if you can't, protect yourself with blankets or a mattress, or like Mary's idea of a football helmet or a bike helmet, anything to protect you from flying debris. But yes, number one, basement is the best. So Futurecast by 1 o'clock is doing a pretty good job. Has these storms essentially east of I-95 into Howard County and also into Prince George's County. And then it really kicks them across the bay, maybe a little too quickly across the bay into the Delmarva. And then we get a respite. Okay, this is 3 o'clock, so, going home tonight, roads may still be wet, may have a couple of sprinkles, but I think the severe weather will be out of here for your evening commute. Then at 7 o'clock, look to the west. These storms are going to be triggered by the actual cold front that's going to go through. So by 9 o'clock, it's still hanging on to these storms, and there's been some debate whether or not we're looking at 2 rounds or 1 round. And we're still kind of favoring a second round of storms between about 7 o'clock and midnight. And these could be severe. These could have some hail, too. Not so much tornadic, but better chance for damaging winds and hail. And then by 10:30, most of the storms across 95 and even across the bay. All right, Caitlin.
Hey there, Topper. We want to get you back to where we have those 2 tornado warnings still in effect right now, one of which does look like it's producing some pretty significant hail within it right over Columbia. So let's get you right down to that warning right now. Again, these are both very close, mostly in Howard County, but this is what has me really concerned right now. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. That really deep shade of red, that maroon color right on the edge of that tornado warning between Simpsonville and Clarksville, heading towards Elioke. That's where we have some potentially small to moderate size hail in addition to that rotation threat. Thankfully, these storms don't have that traditional look of a tight velocity couplet indicating a tornado actually on the surface, but we do know there is rotation possible. That's why we have these 2 warnings in effect again until 12:45 and 1 p.m. respectively. This one still heading towards Columbia. If you're back towards parts of, we'll zoom in a little bit closer here, show you where we are town by town, but if you're in the area south of Simpsonville, you're in the clear right now. This storm continuing to work its way to the upper part of where we have the warning in effect, where we have that red shading. That's where you still need to be within your shelter. It's really that area west of Simpsonville that has me concerned about some hail in addition to damaging wind. But if you're in Oakland Mills, Guilford, over towards Pfeffer Corners, you need to stay in your safe place for now. But we know this is not the only tornado warning we have on the map. So let's show you where we have the second warning. Oh, was the other one dropped right now?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
okay.
so just a little, and I think Montgomery County, you're in the clear, quite frankly. I think, as you mentioned, we're concerned about Howard County right now on the way up to Simpsonville and Columbia. But yeah, the other one is canceled, and this is the one that we're mainly concerned about for, yes, Simpsonville, Guilford, Pfeffer Corners, and up toward Columbia. There's 95 and 32, which is in Howard County, and that shows, it's just some pretty good rain. Still don't see the trees going crazy, though. I mean, you see them rustling a little bit.
Yeah, let's head back to radar and time out this storm, though, because like we've been talking about all day, whether or not it's actually within the tornado warning or the severe thunderstorm warning, we have some significant potential to see damage within these storms. And it's really this one that's packing quite a punch right now as it heads towards Ellicott City. If you're in Ellicott City, you can expect this storm in your area by 12:53. Gray shortly thereafter. Catonsville, this storm heading into your area around 1 p.m. and then continuing to push off to the north and east. So this entire line of storms basically still under those severe thunderstorm warnings. Of course, tornado warnings are a primary concern of ours because that does indicate rotation on the ground. But within these severe thunderstorm warnings, we still can expect some really locally damaging wind. It looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes St. Mary's and Calvert County until 1:30 this afternoon. So these storms really behaving exactly how we thought they would. They're pushing off to the east and northeast, producing some damage in their path, but moving through relatively quickly. So again, every little yellow box you see there is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. I do want to take you first to the tornado warning, which is set to expire at 1 p.m. And right now it looks like the worst of that storm is just about to head out of the tornado warning. So they're either going to cancel it or expand it. If it gets expanded, it's heading into Ellicott City. This is all just to the west of I-95. Catonsville, again, we just talked about your area. You can expect this storm within the next 15 minutes or so. Chadwick Manor heading for your area, Norwood Heights, Franklin Town. You are all going to see this strong to possibly severe thunderstorm. So let's take you all up and down this line because the entire line of thunderstorms producing the potential for wind damage in addition to that really locally heavy rain. That's why we have the flood watch in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. So we'll start up towards Westminster, down into Eldersburg. You're in the brunt of this right now. It's heading in to Reisterstown next and Ralston Town, heading into Townsend shortly thereafter, and we'll take it down this entire line. Mount Airy and Damascus, I know you guys just had some rough storms, but it is clearing from your area. Similar scenario for Olney, where we had that tornado watch earlier this afternoon. Rockville, you're also just seeing some moderate rain. That tornado warning remains in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Laurel, you're still seeing some really nasty weather moving through right now. New Carlton down into Walker Mill. Bowie heading for you guys next. Odenton, that weather heading your way in about 15 to 30 minutes. Upper Marlboro down into Dunkirk. You're about to get in on that nasty weather as well. I keep hearing my phone go off. That either tells me that they're canceling severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings or they're expanding them. And that one was still just for that St. Mary's severe thunderstorm warning that again does remain in effect until 1:30 this afternoon. So they did just
Montgomery
trim
County is
back.
clear. Montgomery County is clear. Howard County till 1 o'clock, and it's essentially that little corner northeast before you get to Columbia.
Yep, they just trimmed back that tornado warning as expected. They didn't expand it, so that's good news there. But look right over Columbia, where you see that really deep shading, that shading of pink, that's a significant hail spike. That tells me that they are likely seeing hail in the area. We had a big hailstorm just last week. We saw the damage that that did to parts of the eastern shore. So if you're between Oakland Mills and Columbia, not only are you likely seeing some damaging wind, but also a big hail potential and those cracks of thunder and lightning we've been watching all morning long. That's what we can expect as these storms continue to push off to the north and east. So again, this tornado warning didn't get expanded. It should cancel out at 1 p.m. But if you're in St. John's Village, this storm still going to be quite hefty, damaging wind, possibly some hail sticking along with it, heading towards Ellicott City, Pine Orchard. This storm heading your way, Thistle eventually making its way towards your town as well. So right now we still have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, for now, just this one tornado warning, but this is what we've been seeing all day long, these little spin-ups in this strong line of storms. We have a really strong lower level jet. That gives us wind shear. That's the spin we see in the atmosphere. So it really doesn't take much to spin up a little isolated tornado, and that's exactly what we have again right now in parts of Howard County. To me, it actually looks like the strongest part of this storm has exited the tornado warning. So it is probably safe to say that if you're within the tornado warning, I would stay in your safe space for now, but you're probably in the clear. This is the strongest part of that storm from Columbia heading towards Ellicott City. You're not under the tornado warning right now, but you are still under that severe thunderstorm warning, and we know the damaging wind, the hail potential, that all falls within severe thunderstorm warnings. Topper?
Okay, we got another live picture, 29 at 100. This is a 100 east over toward Gibson Island, and heavy rain there. I thought I might see some hail, can't really tell, but certainly heavy rain, ponding on the roads, and just not a great time to be on the roads. I know it's an incredible, bad timing in terms of holiday forecast and holiday travel, but, folks would just wait a little bit, it would be a little safer to travel. So here's the line continuing to march eastward, now essentially past D.C. into Prince George's County and headed toward Baltimore. And that's where the heaviest storms are now, Howard County up toward Baltimore. And this is the tornado warning that Caitlin was showing. And that goes again until 1 o'clock. Montgomery County, you are clear of the warning. You're not clear, however, the severe thunderstorm warnings. And also on the chat down into southern Maryland, we have severe thunderstorm warnings for Calvert County and also southern Prince George's County. And we're going to watch these storms because they might have to issue a tornado warning on those in southern Maryland. But right now, this is where the warning is. If you're in Columbia, Ellicott City, you need to take shelter. Montgomery County, you're fine. You still have heavy rain, and still you're under a severe thunderstorm warning out toward Albany. But we're still in good shape in terms of it's a little smaller. I'm worried they're going to continue it, though, off to the north and include places like Ellicott City. We'll see. In the meantime, going up and down 95 is just a mess. It would be a mess on a good day, Friday before Memorial Day. It's a real mess with the rain. But again, this is the warning south of Columbia. We'll see if it heads up to the north, if they expand this or not. We'll zoom back out. Heavy rain down toward Laurel. Good news is not quite as heavy rain out toward Albany and Laytonsville at 97 and 650. But look at these storms from Bowie down to Upper Marlboro, Dunkirk. These are severe. I mean, these have winds 50 to 60 miles per hour and probably a little bit of hail, too. So we got a severe thunderstorm warning for Calvert and St. Mary's County until 1:30, and then Anne Arundel, Calvert, and Prince George's County until 1:15. And they're headed over toward Shadyside at about 1:02, so very shortly, in less than 10 minutes. Land's End about 1:07, Tillman at about 1:12, St. Michael's at about 1:22 as the storms move across the bay. So these could end up triggering a tornado warning, but right now the only tornado warning we have is for Howard County until about 1 o'clock. So that's good news. We'll widen back out. Yellow, severe thunderstorm warnings. The muted red, that is the tornado watch, which continues to be trimmed. I think you could actually trim Montgomery County out of it now. There's our lone tornado warning into Howard County. So damage reports are not a lot, but we have some trees down in Fairfax County, and we have a wind gust of 43 miles per hour down into Quantico. But as these storms move through and folks have a chance to get out and look at the damage, I'm sure we're going to get more storm reports. Caitlin.
Yeah, Topper. In fact, I was just scrolling social media, Twitter, Facebook, always great resources to see what's going on where folks have experienced these storms. And so far, we have seen some significant damage through parts of Herndon, Virginia. But again, that is just one town. I think we're going to see a lot of damage reports continue to come in. This line of storms, rather, packed quite a punch. We know we've had those severe thunderstorm warnings since early this morning, and they've just been getting pushed off to the east. But first and foremost, we are watching that tornado warning that should expire here in about 7 minutes in Howard County, but right now it does remain in effect for the time being, and it does look like the strongest part of that storm is actually without the tornado warning. It's actually farther off to the north and west of the warning. I was just keeping an eye on it off screen, looking at some additional data, and the strongest of the storm in Ellicott City right now back towards Columbia, still seeing some significant wind strikes. It does still look like this storm is producing some small to moderate sized hail. We haven't seen that in a lot of storms so far this morning, but that is what radar is indicating right now. So I do think it's safe to say if you are within the tornado warning, you are probably in the clear. If you want to be safe just for a few more minutes, hang tight. But the worst of the weather just about to cross over I-70 from Ellicott City, heading towards the Baltimore area here relatively shortly. So most of us, again, are in the clear for our area. We do still have those severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until after 1 o'clock, depending upon where you are. We'll give you a closer look at where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings, rather, in effect. Most of our area in the clear, but if you're in parts of southern Maryland, Dunkirk, down towards Leonardtown, these storms going to head off into the eastern shore here. A lot of folks probably took off early for the long holiday weekend, and that nasty weather heading their way. So if you do have loved ones on the eastern shore, please let them know that they can expect this line of thunderstorms a little bit later on this afternoon. But for most of us, we are just left with some light to moderate rain. And as Topper's been talking about, this is just round one. We are expecting another line of storms later this evening. I do think this is the stronger of the two, but severe weather also not off the table as we head throughout the later evening hours, say between 5 and 10 o'clock tonight. That's when we'll see round two rumble through here. But right now in the D.C. area, just some light to moderate rain. Still some steady rain from Germantown down into Rockville and Olney. Laurel seeing some steady rain. And again, of course, we're watching that tornado warning, but the worst of the weather far beyond it, actually heading towards the Baltimore area right now. That's that tornado warning that should be expired here any minute now, just to the south of Columbia, but the storm heading through Ellicott City. And the good news is that velocity spike, that hail indicator that we've been watching, isn't there anymore. So hopefully this storm has lost a little bit of its steam as it's pushed off to the north and east, but that's great news in terms of the damage potential. The worst of the weather, I do think, has cleared our area, and the cleanup begins. But keep in mind, we are expecting more bad weather later this afternoon and into the evening. So most of these severe thunderstorm warnings well off to our north and east, but we do still have a few in southern Maryland. So we'll show you where we're seeing that weather right now down into Dunkirk. Still a lot of thunder and lightning being produced with these storms as well. Really rough conditions over Bowie, some locally heavy rain, possibly some damaging wind. We see some lightning strikes in the area down towards Upper Marlboro and into Dunkirk, Prince Frederick. You're still seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings. This weather heading towards Shadyside before moving across the bay. We'll see when this one's in effect until we have so many this afternoon. It is a little tough to keep track, but this one's set to expire at 1:15 as storms continue to push off to the east northeast around 40 miles per hour. But keep in mind, more storms later this afternoon. That flood watch still goes in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. We've already seen some significant rain. The ground already very saturated, and we can expect more rain later on this evening, some of which could be locally heavy. The wind threat not entirely out of here. I do think the tornado threat was greater this morning. I think once this line pushes through, we will still be watching for some severe storms this evening, but the spin in the atmosphere was really the setup this morning. So once we get through this last tornado warning, we're going to dive right back into the data and see what we have on the plate for tonight. But right now, a lot of us just left with some rain. We'll show you one more time where we have that tornado warning in effect. But Topper, I'm really not super concerned with it right now. The strongest part of that storm well off to the north and east. Yeah, and if it gets extended, we will keep you posted on that. And you know, a good point here. You know, Caitlin's mentioned, and Mary too, the low level jet. So oftentimes you don't need a lot of sunshine and temps in the 90s to get rotation. Okay, remember wind shears, different speeds and different directions, both horizontal and vertical, and you get that spin. That's what we had today, even though we didn't have much in terms of sunshine and only temps in the low to mid 70s. So here's the radar past couple of hours. It's moving through D.C. It still has some heavy rain into Montgomery County.
But for the most part, you're done in terms of the tornadoes, and you're done also in terms of the severe thunderstorm warnings. They're now moving across, about to go over the bay. So Calvert County, Charles County, St. Mary's County, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore, everybody's under a severe thunderstorm warning, and this is what's left of the tornado warning until 1 o'clock. And we'll stay with you until that goes away. But these storms down here, these are ones that we're watching very carefully. Could have a little more rotation and the potential for a possible tornado, but certainly we're still looking at winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And I mentioned this earlier, these are low toppers. You know, we just slice and dice this. Look at the vertical atmosphere, look at the vertical profile of this. They're under 20,000 feet. That's another kind of interesting lesson. You also don't need sunny and 90 to get destabilize the atmosphere, and you don't need storms, 30, 40, 50,000 feet to produce severe weather. We're seeing that right now. Port Republic, Solomons, a lot of severe weather. Rainfall rates over 1.5 inches per hour. So we're looking at back up toward Columbia, and we're looking at essentially just severe thunderstorm warnings, including Dayton and Albany, and also off to the east, rather over toward Glen Burnie, 95 toward Baltimore. But we're in pretty good shape in terms of the tornado warning. It seems to be gone. We still have these severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have to take these seriously too. Hopefully you did some prep last night, kept your devices charged, and I know we put our weather watchers on alert today. So now Frederick County, Loudoun County no longer under the tornado watch. The yellow here is a solid area of severe weather, severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, a warning means it's occurring, a watch means it's possible. I think we're going to see Fairfax and Montgomery and D.C. Cleared here pretty early, pretty shortly before long. The threat is over for tornadoes for the time being. But again, another round of storms possible. Some damage. We're looking at some tree damage, trees down over toward Franklin Farm in Fairfax, and some winds in La Plata, west of La Plata, and also down into across the bridge there, East Bridge, wind Dahlgren of 61 miles per hour. So again, we're under a red weather alert. We have a tornado watch still from Montgomery County east until 2, a flood watch until 11 o'clock. We will be back as conditions warrant. For now, from Mary Marshall, for Caitlin McGrath, I'm meteorologist Topper Shutt.